Hey ladies, I just wanted to come and do an update. It's not a great update. I didn't make a video Friday after my appointment because we had relatives coming in and they just left yesterday. So I've been busy with all of that, and after the appointment Friday, I was just so upset. So basically, on that ultrasound Friday, they seen 2 sacs instead of 1, and it was very confusing to me. Well, when the doctor tells you something, you kind of take it at face value. So I'm all crying in the office, I'm crying in the waiting room because I had an ultrasound appointment first, and then after the ultrasound it was a doctor's appointment to explain to my doctor, or to have my doctor explain to me the results of the ultrasound. So the tech already basically told me that she felt like it was not a viable pregnancy, or the pregnancy wasn't going to be successful. So, okay, so we get in there. Now, this is, mind you, supposed to be a 30-minute ultrasound. I have 2 forms of insurance, and there's no reason that I shouldn't have been able to just have a patient thorough ultrasound, which is all I'm asking for. But anyway, I'll get to that later. So she looks in there. She says, "Oh, well, I don't see anything." So all this time I'm thinking that the second sac was the blood clot that I had, the subchorionic hemorrhage. So I saw a pulsating, like what you would think would be the fetal heart rate. At the very, very corner, there was a small sac on the right hand side, upper right hand side of the screen, and there was a large sac kind of at the underneath that one. So in the very far left corner of that sac was something. It was like I knew it was a fetal pole and something else, but I asked her and she was like, "No, that's nothing." She said, "This one's too big, this sac is too big, the one over there is more consistent with an 8-week pregnancy." So I'm thinking, okay, the fluttering that I saw was just, maybe one of my own blood vessels or something like that. So I just kind of accepted what she was telling me. I go out to the waiting room waiting for my other appointment, and I'm crying and all of that, and then I go to my doctor and she said, "Oh, well, from what this is showing here, see, this sac is empty, and this sac over here has a fetal pole and a little bit of development." And I'm like, hold on. I said, she told me that was nothing. I said, I was under the impression that this was the hemorrhage. And she said, "No, your hemorrhage is right here." And it was just like a line. It was nothing. It was just basically gone completely. So I said, okay, so if that's not the hemorrhage, then she said, "Yeah, it looks like there was a second sac. You had basically two babies." So I still started grieving about it and stuff. And then my husband's like, "Well, how can they say that the baby's gone if you felt like you saw a heartbeat?" The last 3 ultrasounds, there has been a heartbeat present. The first one, the guy, the head honcho of the department, didn't record it because the subchorionic hemorrhage was so huge that he felt like when it bled out, it was going to bleed the baby out, because it was right beside the baby, completely surrounding the sac. So he didn't record it then. Then the next ultrasound, my doctor said that she thought she saw a flicker, but it was too slow. She didn't really take the time to see or anything like that. Then on this ultrasound, I could see if I was off by the spot that I thought it was in and stuff like that. But it was the exact spot that I saw the pulsating that my doctor told me that's where the yolk, the fetal pole and stuff is. So she said, but she was looking according to my last menstrual period, which was May 15th. So according to that, I should have been 8 weeks and 2 days, Friday. But I had already explained to her previously that I know for sure that I couldn't have gotten pregnant before then, because we didn't even have unprotected sex until later in the month, after I thought I'd already was way past ovulation. So there's no way. More like 7 weeks and 4. It could have been anywhere from 7 weeks and 1 day to 7 weeks and 6 days. And I always measure a little bit behind. Like, even if my dates are exact, I always measure like 4 days behind at first. So I could have been measuring 6 weeks, potentially, depending on, my normal history. So she was like, well, 8 week fetus, it's not going to make it. So she was going to schedule the D&C. Well, my husband and I talked about it, and we don't want to do the D&C, period. Just for the spiritual aspect of, what if we're killing a baby, for one thing? And that's just completely against all that I believe. Completely. Even if the baby has problems and the baby's not going to make it, I'm not going to kill it on my own accord. And doing a D&C, if there's a heartbeat, it's killing my baby. So I am completely against that. So I will let myself miscarry on my own if I'm going to miscarry. But I strongly believe, with all that's gone on, that my baby's alive. Maybe not for long. I still might miscarry. I'm not in denial by any means. I've already felt like I've had to start the grieving process 3 times because of each time they told me the next day or two you're going to miscarry. The next day or two you're going to miscarry. So here I am, completely no more hemorrhage, no more bleeding, and you're still telling me my baby's not going to make it. And I talked with I have a friend that's in the medical profession, and she said that she feels like when a doctor comes to a conclusion, they're going to just pretty much stick to that conclusion. And, especially if she feels like, okay, you just had a baby and she don't need another baby at this time, and, stuff like that. So I really believe that, because on each of the little sheets that she gave me to take to the lab, with what the visit was for and what her conclusion of the visit was, she had on there the absence of fetal heart rate. And I know for sure each time I saw my baby's heartbeat, whether the baby is not going to make it, like I said, or not, my baby's heart is beating as of right now. So you should not be recording that my baby doesn't have a heartbeat. And I just kind of feel betrayed, because, as soon as I went in there, the first visit, they're telling me sorry without even looking yet. It's just like, I'm telling you how retroverted my uterus is. Like, my first ultrasound in the hospital with my angel tech, as I call her, she took 25 minutes to find my baby. To find the baby. We talked about everything. She checked my ovaries. She checked to make sure the baby wasn't in my tube. She had to contort that thing so much to where, I was in pain, because she had to maneuver it to that extent to be able to see something. Then at the very end, in good conscience, she could have declared that there was not a baby visible, and she would have been doing, the best that she could. But she kept on, because she saw that my uterus was, in such an abnormal position, and she found the baby. So I'm thinking, how, when that ultrasound took nearly 30 minutes, if not more, that you just stick the probe in me and make a immediate judgment and take it out and say, I'm sorry, and say, hey, you're a fertile myrtle, so ain't no big deal, let's just get a D&C. So that kind of just ticks me off. And the lady, the medical professional that I was telling you about, that I'm friends with, she specializes, she teaches, she's a professor of ultrasound technology at the college here. So, like she said, if she has in her mind what she feels a diagnosis is, she can make it look like anything that she wants it to look like, to back up. She said, if I did not have the ethics and the integrity that I have, I could do anything. I could make it look like anything was going on. So just to do an ultrasound for 2 minutes, I mean, that's probably the longest. After that first ultrasound, that was the longest ultrasound I've had, is 2 minutes. Even though you're getting paid 30 minutes to take your time to make sure. I don't care if it hurts me. I don't care if you have to move that thing. I don't care what you have to do. I want to know what's going on with my child. So I'm thinking about going into the emergency room on Saturday, and because that particular tech works weekend nights, she specifically told me that, and that's why she says she feels like she's gonna have, be in demand, because most people don't want to work on the weekends, and she works weekend nights and evenings. But I know for sure she'll be there on the weekends. So I am going to all of a sudden be in a ton of pain Saturday so that I can see her again, because she's not going to be rushing, and I know that she's going to truly try to help me. So I'm sorry that this video quality sucks. I have to get my camera back, but I just wanted to update y'all and let y'all know what's going on. I feel so blessed to have y'all. I am so thankful for y'all's prayers and all the support. So I will let you know what happens as soon as I know something. Also, my beta results she took Friday. The previous ones were 35,000. The ones from Friday were 69,000. The progesterone from previous was 5, and the progesterone from Friday was 12. So I feel like for right now, my baby's fighting, and I'm gonna fight with my baby. So any personal experiences, any knowledge that you can share. I've also been looking at the misdiagnosed miscarriage site about people that have been diagnosed with blighted ovums and turn out to find a live baby at 9+ weeks. So I just wanted to share that with y'all. And it is getting dark in this room because it's starting to rain. So I will talk to y'all soon, and thank y'all so much for the support. Bye.